Naoya and Jogo is a pretty interesting matchup, especially with all the comparisons that have been made recently, more so because of all the Maki stuff that's happening. But it is a pretty close fight. Well, at least you'd think, right? But that's what we're going to be discussing today with Blaziken. Blaziken's a JJK YouTuber as well, he's a really good one, and I've made collabs with him before, and if you like JJK content, especially mine, you're going to love his content, so check him out, his link is in the description. And of course, thank you to all of the Honored One and Special Grade members of the channel. Alright, now to start off, I think Naoya just completely bodies, me and Blaziken talked about this before, and it's pretty brutal. I mean, it's not too clean of a body, so it is going to be like a good fight, but it's pretty brutal because I guess the thing that I want to start off with is that, as most of you should know, but I imagine some of you don't because even I didn't know this until like a month or two ago, Jogo actually has pretty weak defense, and this was shown in a volume extra. So this was actually said by the author that if Jogo had taken the 5 black flashes that Yuji had hit Hanami with, and if he had also taken a swing from Todo the Playful Cloud, it literally says it would have instantly killed Jogo. No ifs, no buts, it's not even high damage, it would have just instantly killed my man. Right off the bat, his defense isn't good, so I kind of want to pass this off to Blaziken because, I mean, you guys know I think if he gets hit by one full speed of Naoya when he's like at max speed in a thruster, would that kill Jogo instantly? I mean, some people say no, but what do you think, Blaziken?
Yeah, he's getting incinerated. Respectfully, listen, it's nothing to do. In defense of his defense, he obviously has things to make up for it, so his speed and attack power and stuff are higher, so he can make up for those, obviously kind of being a glass cannon. But in terms of if he was to get hit by Mach 3 and now someone who's easily more faster than he is, it just doesn't make sense for him to obviously survive. And I think if he was to get hit by the same Mach 3 hit that Maki did, I just don't believe he's surviving that. I mean, majority of Jujutsu sorcerers I doubt are surviving that in general. So Jogo, who already seems to have a little bit low in terms of durability, I just don't believe has enough to survive the Mach 3 hit.
What's crazy is that, think about this, Maki is so durable and she was out for 5 minutes to heal. I agree with you, man. I think like if he gets hit by the Mach 3 hit, that might just like insta-kill him, to be honest.
100%, I think it will. But obviously that poses the question, will Naoya be able to build enough speed to damage Jogo? So we briefly talked about this, and obviously there's certain things that Jogo can do to prevent himself from being affected. So for example, he has his lava stuff, which he kind of throws on the head, similar to do in Shibuya, where he can kind of set in place to make them go off when people pass their location. He also has things such as ember insects, which impact on sound, meaning if somebody gets close to the radius, he could potentially throw things such as a lava into his thrusters, similar to that with Choso, to prevent him from necessarily continuously building up speed. We also know it takes time for Naoya to build up his speed before he can get to his max speed, but even his projection sorcery speed is just far faster than anything that Jogo can do right now, that he will rely solely on obviously perception and trying to react to his hit. What do you think in that regard?
I think it's a good point to bring up that as well, like with the lava doing pretty good damage against Naoya. So we were actually talking about this before as well, how Naoya's meaty part is, I guess, I don't know what else to call it, I guess meaty part. Yeah, it's meaty part. It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty soft. Alright, now that's like, it's pretty weak, I guess that's the But yeah, because it was said by Kamo that it's weaker than Hanami at least. He's just referring to his actual like flesh part. He's not referring to the actual shell, because then right after he says when he puts himself in the shell, like his toughness increases a lot. So how does that scale to Hanami? Because then you have to question, how would the lava damage Naoya? I think we both agree that like the lava would damage the flesh part, right? But for the shell, it's like, would it? Because then as well, like, because Kamo did tear through the meat part, which again is pretty soft, but he can easily heal that part. And it is, again, I don't want to say this is like fact or anything, but human blood is poisonous against, I guess, like cursed flesh. Does that increase the damage? Maybe, maybe not. But it is something to take into account.
Yeah, and I think to even build on that, obviously with the blood manipulation being super effective against curses, we could potentially see that it could get an additional buff like you stated. However, regardless of that, obviously Jogo has a lot more AP that I don't believe it would be too much of an issue. In addition, he does have his maximum technique, which even though it might not necessarily be as fast, which I think it depends on your interpretation, because he obviously wasn't aiming at the other people, but he could nuke the area, meaning there'll be less space for obviously Naoya to be able to build up his projection sorcery, which could take like a more area of effect, which he needs to obviously build up his speed. The only thing is he has to then rely on the 124 frames of projection sorcery, meaning that him making wrong moves potentially wouldn't help him in that regard. But going back to the obviously meaty and shell argument, I think obviously once he is in his shell, which the majority of time you see him just spinning around the block in his shell, moving around. He's far more durable with that binding valve, meaning that maybe the lava won't have as significant damage to prevent him from continuing building up speed, as well as we know as curses, the negative emotions can help them heal back their injuries, meaning they both kind of benefit from that. But now you're just being overall more durable and stronger. I believe he just has a better benefit from that in that regard. But what do you think?
No, I think you're completely spitting as well. And to even add on to that, to add on to the whole he needs to build up speed thing. One thing I'll say in defense of Naoya, like as if we're not like wanking Naoya hard enough, but one thing I'll say for Naoya is when he does build up speed, the benefit that he has is that he can fly, right? So he can just like, that's why Maki couldn't catch him actually. So he just flew in the other direction. And B, I guess it depends on where they're fighting. If they're fighting in an open area, he could not only fly, but he could also fly in the opposite direction. So he could turn around and start building speed. I don't even think Jogo would be able to catch him. And the thing is like, also to add on to the lava point, we were actually talking about this before the stream because we wanted to confirm what was going on with Naobito and him dodging the lava. So there's a really interesting statement that says that, it basically says Naobito was the fastest before he had lost his arms, and it shows this literally as he gets hit by the Jogo's lava attack. So this implies, I think insanely heavily, I think it literally just means that had he had both his arms, at least from my interpretation, he would have dodged that attack from Jogo. And that's like a human Naobito who scales to a human Naoya. So then if you compare that to Curse Naoya, not even Curse but Curse Naoya, is this like 3 whole buffs on top of that. He's just too fast. I don't even know what to say.
I mean, you can build on that. I do believe Naobito is faster than Naoya based on the interpret, but the fact that they're relative, like you said, is a good indication to his additional speed, which people, whether you highball Jogo or downplay him, is somewhat close to at least 100 Naobito's speed. Now, what we saw in the Maki colony, Maki states that obviously Naoya is even faster than before, and his previous one could hit the speed of sound. So if he's gone from being able to be faster from just basic projection sorcery from eventually the speed of sound, even before he can hit his max speed of Mark 3, he's already showcased that he's just so much faster than his previous human form, meaning that Jogo wouldn't be able to catch up with him. But that does not mean he won't be able to react to him in defense. We saw things such as Kamo being able to perceive last minute hits, and I do believe Jogo is far stronger than Kamo, meaning he'll probably be able to do something similar, but it kind of just takes very hard for him to perceive something, especially if Naoya builds up his max speed, which once he does, I think is just wraps for my man.
Nah, I agree, because like the way I take it is Naoya seems to respond to people in terms of how much of a threat they are. So if you remember with Kamo, he was just playing around him, like no speed, literally just he was going in raw. He's like casual. But when he fights Maki, if you remember, like, so this was after she had awakened again, so her mental block was gone. He starts the fight, and like the whole fight is going on while he's in his top speed. I think he would recognize, like, for sure, because he's kind of dangerous. I can't even lie, Jogo's kind of dangerous. He gets scrubbed about, but
100%. I mean, you know what? I'm on the Naoya has no battle IQ, because imagine a person who could use projection sorcery and only on the air. Imagine how stupid you could. It's not like other people get frozen or something. But listen, regardless of that, and brief Naoya stand up, like you said, I think just from him perceiving that Jogo would be more of a threat, he would then be able to react straight away to start building up speed. And once he does, like we've kind of been touching on, Jogo doesn't have too many win cons in that situation, bar stopping his obviously thrusters beforehand, which we still don't know if that will completely shut off his ability to use projection sorcery.
Yeah, I mean, and he could heal from it too, because it's not... The thing is, maybe the lava would do more damage than the piercing blood, but the piercing blood, I guess the blood in general, had far more lasting damage. That's the thing, because it was poisonous.
Right.
The lava doesn't have lasting damage. You just heal from it. So it is kind of brutal. Like, to give some defense, I guess, to Jogo, he's pretty fast. But the fact that, like, think about it, bro. He's like, Naobito is half dead. He's not even half dead. He's like 90% dead, right? He's cooked up. And the fact that if he had still had another arm, he would have still dodged Jogo's attack. That's kind of crazy. I can't even lie.
Yeah. And I mean, even to build onto the lava, as in why it potentially won't, we saw Maki who was injured, Nanami who was injured, Naobito who was injured, who all survived from the lava attacks from Jogo. So in terms of expecting Curse Naoya, who at least has some level of durability, whether in his shell or without his shell, we're assuming they're going to be more durable than the previous people that we mentioned. It doesn't seem likely that 1 or 2 lava hits are going to kill him. But then that nicely moves on to potentially the domain expansion. And we talked about this briefly with the fact that obviously we just can't tell you who's more refined. So in that regard to the domain.
It's tough, man. It's exactly like Blazer can say, man. Because again, it's like what? They're gonna clash. Who's more refined? How do you define that? Like, is it cursed energy? Is it skill? Like, we don't know.
Jogo defense. This could potentially win con. Naoya, his body, he comes out from his curse room to then enact his domain expansion, and he's half human, half curse room like. Maybe he doesn't now have the same level of durability because you see more of the fleshy part at the end, and then he has his human body. So maybe straight after the domain expansion, because you know that they do get at least some amps to their stats regardless of it, he could potentially catch him off guard and then potentially kill him there. I thought that was the best win-con scenario for Jogo.
That's pretty good, actually. Holy shit. Yeah. So I guess the thing is, he'd have to kill him fast enough. But if he does, like, if he kills him right off the bat, then yeah. The issue is like, because now you could heal, even when the top half of him was destroyed, if you remember. His human part came out of the legs of his curse part.
Yes.
And then it seemed like when Maki stabbed his human part, it was like re-evolving back into a curse wound. So it seemed like Maki basically was able to kill him because she had hacks.
Yes, rather than able to. Yeah.
Because I feel like even if, let's say Jogo burns all of the top half off, I genuinely feel like another Naoya could spawn.
Just spawn up.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Spirit plotline, so that is a potential thing that he could have just released. Obviously, if we forget more of that and we go back to the thing, I think that's a good point you made. I mean, he was able to pretty much heal from his initial bloody state as well. But to be fair to Jogo, we could potentially be in a situation we don't know if they can even activate their techniques after, meaning he might not be able to even get away with things such as projection sorcery.
Actually, I was curious about that, because when he builds up his speed, I guess that is part of projection sorcery, isn't it? Because he needs the projection sorcery to build up his speed.
Yeah.
So, but he does have thrusters. That's pretty interesting. I guess, he wouldn't be able to build up speed. And then Jogo wouldn't be able to use his curse technique. I guess his lava stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it could be both ways. I don't know. We barely see that many people straight after domain expansions being able to use their curse technique, but obviously like Ryu and Gojo, obviously, which are just their hacks. And then I guess Utah kind of somewhat after, but it wasn't straight away, which is what we implied.
Yeah, it took like a minute or two.
Yeah. So,
I mean, one thing about the Yu thing, that's weird. Because he kept Rika out though. Isn't Rika's curse technique?
So the way I understand it is he can only access his curse technique when Rika's available, but I don't think Rika's necessarily his curse technique. If that makes sense, I don't know.
No. I get that. Like, I made a whole video how like his true curse technique, right? It's the copy. So you agree? Like, it's the copy, and then he made Rika by accident, and now he has to use his curse technique through Rika. The issue I have with that, like, because that's what I believe as well. The thing is like the Viz and the TC both say that Rika, the 5 minutes that Rika's out is like a part of the curse technique though. It's like the copy, Rika, the access to curse tool. It's like, even if Rika's out, shouldn't she become partially manifested after the domain? Okay, now I'm just slandering you for no reason. It's not even you slandering. Now it's part of the title now. Naoya versus Jogo. Winners. Yuta's the loser, yeah. Yeah, but sorry, I had to throw that in. I can't go like 10 minutes without talking about Yuta.
That's in a negative way. My brief to add to the Utah thing, I think he did a binding vow or something to make it, but we don't know yet.
Yeah,
that's my guess, but I don't know yet.
Sorry, going back to Naoya versus Jogo. The Maxim thing, I think you're talking about before. I think he's just gonna dodge it as well. I agree, man. It's just too slow. Because you said if it's aimed at him, maybe it's different. That could be true. Yes, because it wasn't targeting the grade 1s, but the fact that it was... Wait, can you really not hit that?
No.
What is that? Oh my god. The fact that the grade 1s were so close to it, and even if it wasn't... Let's say it was tracking Sukuna. The fact that... Because he was standing there, so it was kind of tracking them, I guess, but... That they all dodged it? I don't know.
I'll give Jogo the benefit of the doubt to say that if he had hit the aim for the grade 1 sorcerers, it could have been quicker and it'd be harder for them to draw. This is just me giving him the benefit of the doubt. Plus, Sukuna's speed is, Sukuna.
Yeah.
My man's basically teleporting. He's that quick, so to be fair. But yeah, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but then there's also the argument that it could be too slow that people could dodge it. So, I think the best thing for the maximum technique for him is just the area of effect, because it could prevent him from obviously less ways that Naoya can build up speed, and maybe he can intercept his speed course because it has a high area of effect. He maybe gets some chip damage, which affects him from projection sorcery, which he then will get affected by the freeze frame because he wouldn't have followed the same rules of projection sorcery. But that's like a...
Yeah, I mean, because again, I think it's not going to do anything, but let's say it will do at least something, like change the terrain. Let's give him some, like you said, benefit of the doubt. Just throw Jogo a bone, right? Even something. But yeah, I think so again, so I'll go first and then I'll see what you think. So I'll let you think about this, but because I didn't even think about this. If they were to fight 100 times, I would say Naoya probably wins like 85, 90 times.
I like 90.
Yeah, it's kind of 90.
Bro, it's just I don't see that many win cons for Jogo in this situation.
Yeah.
If lava does stop his thrusters and he can't build up speed, then I think it dramatically changes, because then the main asset of Naoya is his obviously building up of speed. But if that can't stop his thrusters, then there's just no way he survives all this Mark 3.
Now you can heal.
No, but I'm saying more than just necessarily heal.
Oh, you mean insta kill?
Building up speed.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Like, if you prevent him from building up speed, then Jogo has a far better chance, and then it becomes a more even fight.
That's
but
true,
if he can still, let's say, delay it and then build up speed, then yeah, it's just there's no way he can catch him in that regard. He's not like Maki free falling, gonna mid intercept him midway. So
yeah.
It's just,
Bro,
man.
I can't lie, that Maki power up, my god, kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I was even like thinking about it. Is that not what Toji did when he dodges Gojo's blue?
Red.
No, the blue one. So not the red. So this is the first fight, pre-awakening.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm going crazy. I'm going off memory because he kind of like moves in a way that shouldn't be possible.
Bro, they're heavily restriction. They're on cocaine, man. I don't know what they're doing, bro. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It makes a lot of sense. It'll make a lot of sense. It'll make a lot more sense.
Like, bro, imagine Koichi or Mekamaru, right? If he had stayed healthy and he had like 10 or a couple years of training, bro would have like 100 semi-grade 1 level fighters controlling him, along with his base. Fucking hell.
Yeah. And then his big ass Evangelion robot as well.
Yeah.
Man, he would have been a problem. He would have been a problem for real.
Man, he got cooked. Absolutely cooked. I can't even that was
I'm sorry, I was celebrating.
What?
Yeah. Nah, listen. Everyone's like, oh, poor Mekamaru. Nah, bum. He's a bum.
I think people, to be fair, like how his life went, you know, and then Miwa stuff.
I'm a villain supporter, you know, like people be like, I hate Mahito. I think he's the GOAT. So listen.
Man, Mahito's like what, a GOAT villain? I hate his guts, man. Oh, fuck that guy. It's like, you know, he's a good villain, man.
Listen, when he, killed Nanami, it hurt me. It hurt me for real. But
bro,
he was preaching. He was preaching in the fight, bro. When he was like, you resolves weak. I'm like,
yeah, he's Finn. I can't lie. Like when Nanami died, this is kind of controversial take. I like Nanami, but I didn't care that much. I can't even lie.
No.
I was like, whatever, man. It happened.
Oh, my heart hurt.
I don't know why as well. I like Nanami though. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I thought he died of the Jogo thing, so that was why, I guess.
Fair enough.
But then he just like
through the freaking disaster versus gauntlet.
My god.
That one Jogo, then my two back.
Bro, they took him on a train, man. I can't even lie. Like one by one. Oh my god.
Bro.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have, I guess, anything else you want to say?
Smoking on that Jogo pack, bro.
Smoking. Yeah, we're smoking that pack, man. All right.
Obviously, to the Jogo defenders, let us know, because if there is actually things we missed and things you were trying to change in terms of how he could win, I'm actually very interested. I did try to defend Jogo if I can. It's just don't see that many win cons for him. I genuinely think Naoya is just too strong in that regard.
Yeah, it's well said. I mean, Jogo is so hard to scale because like he's either overrated or underrated. And to be honest, with the evidence, especially with that date, like the volume extra evidence, how his defense is so weak, I don't know. I got to underrate him a bit, but yeah.
It's valid, yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything we got on them, man.
Thank you to all the members of the channel. You guys make these videos possible. You guys are absolutely clutch, and I just really appreciate it.